Hello, today we are going to talk about models of ability, for example, can, could, and be able to. In the first place, we need to see the difference between can and be able to. In terms of meaning, it's exactly the same. Both are used to talk about abilities in the present or things that you can do in the present. For example, you can say Annie can swim, but she can't ride a bike. Or you can say, I can play the guitar and sing. Okay, these are things or abilities that you have in the present. And the same happens with be able to. You can say he's able to park a car, but he's not able to drive in traffic yet. Or you can say he's crazy, he thinks he's able to stop time with his mind. The only difference is in the context. So basically, can is used for more normal situations. It's a little bit more common, and be able to, it's preferred for more formal situations. So we can say that be able to is a bit more elegant or a little bit more serious or formal than can in the present. Now, let's talk about the past. Okay, when we talk about abilities in the past, then we would use could. So for example, we can say my father could speak 5 languages when he was young, for example. Or we can say he was a very good tennis player and he could beat anybody. Okay, so we are speaking about things that people could do in the past or the abilities that they had in the past. Now, if we have be able to in the past, we can say was able to or were able to. So this is only used when talking about what happened in a particular situation and something that happened only once. Okay, so we can say Jack and John played a tennis match yesterday and John was able to beat Jack. So John beating Jack, it's not a general ability or something that he could do all the time, for example, speaking 5 languages, but something that John did only on one particular situation and he did it only once. That's why we say John was able to beat Jack and not John could beat Jack. We can also say there was a fire, but we were able to escape. So we were able to escape. Again, it's a particular situation that happened only once in the past. That's why we say we were able to escape and not we could escape. In the case of a negative, we prefer couldn't and not wasn't able to or weren't able to. So in both situations, in past abilities, for example, my father couldn't swim, we can use couldn't, or I couldn't read when I was 5, again a past ability. But also, if you say some people couldn't escape from the fire, we prefer to use couldn't and not was able to, because it's the negative, okay? So when we're speaking about the negative ability or negative situations, we prefer to use couldn't and not was able to or was unable to. The same happens with this situation. Yesterday, Jack couldn't beat John because it's in the negative, so it's more common to use couldn't. Now, the verb can is a little bit limited, so it's normally used in the present, and if it's in the past, we use could. However, if you need to use other tenses, apart from the present or the past, then you need to use be able to. So for example, if you need to use a present perfect with can, you need to say, we haven't been able to play tennis for a long time. And you cannot say, we haven't can to play, for example, because it's not possible. If you have to use the future, it's not possible to say, I will can, but you need to say, I won't be able to be there tomorrow. And the same happens, for example, if you have to use an infinitive with to, you need to use be able to. So I've always wanted to be able to dance and not I've always wanted to can to dance. Okay, so you need to remember that apart from present and past, you need to use be able to in those cases. Now let's practice. You have here an example. My little boy couldn't speak. until he was 2 years old, or my little boy wasn't able to speak until he was 2 years old. You need to decide which is right. Okay, the right answer is couldn't. My little boy couldn't speak until he was 2 years old, because if you remember, when we have a negative in the past, we prefer to use couldn't because it's much more common than wasn't able to. Wasn't able to is correct, but it's not that common. The next example, he hasn't been able to fix my bike yet, or he hasn't could fix my bike yet. He'll do it tomorrow. In this case, we have a case of a present perfect. So that's why we need to say, he hasn't been able to fix my bike yet. Because it's a present perfect and it's not present or past, we need to make the present perfect with to be able to. We have another example. She's much better after the operation. She can walk again in 2 months, or she'll be able to walk again in 2 months. Here we have an example with the future. So because it's not present or past, we need to use be able to. She'll be able to walk again in 2 months. And it's impossible to say she can walk again. Another example, I can't send emails at the moment, my computer doesn't work, or I am not able to send emails at the moment, my computer doesn't work. In this case, we are speaking about the present, so both of them are correct. We can say I can't send or I am not able to send. The only difference, if you remember, is that be able to is a little bit more formal. So it depends on the context that you're using, you can use one or the other. It's the weekend at last. I love to go out with my friends. I love being able to go out with my friends. In this case, if you remember, after certain verbs, for example, love or hate or prefer or mind, they are followed by ing verbs. So because it's an ing form and it's not present or past, we prefer be able to. So you need to say, I love being able to go out with friends. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.